Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/getstarted. That's GREENLIGHT.com/getstarted.
You take the ferry.
Really?
Yeah, man, it's mind-blowingly pretty. The view from the top of the hill on the winery, genuinely, like one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen.
We'll check it out. We'll take a look at it.
You have to. You make a day to go and do it.
Door opens.
Hi-ya! Get your face free.
Ah!
How? He's swinging in a circle.
Pinch your motion.
This is why we need a shared battle vocabulary. We said that.
What's going on? Why is Tom dressed like a knight thing?
Oh yeah. Hey guys. Today we're doing Ned Kelly, and I figured I'd get the spirit, you know?
Hi-ya!
I see.
Armor-clad battles, gunfights, and of course, riding someone like a horse.
So heavy.
You have to use your legs.
I am using my legs.
Careful with the smash, bash.
Mike's.
I don't want to play Ned Kelly anymore.
I quit the horse. He sucks.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, live from Sydney, Australia.
You know what occurs to me, Noah? I don't have to have the applause effect today.
Keep it handy. We don't know how the show's gonna go.
We even have fake applause written into the notes here, guys. That's not a joke.
So make it half-hearted when we cue you for that, just like you have in the other room. You know, when they have science talk and it's boring and you all know it already. Just like giving. Yeah.
Just pretend it's sex. Just.
And of course, this is the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts because this is the internet and that's how it works now. I'm Noah Illusions, and I'll be your host on this, our very first live episode here in ridiculously dangerous Poisonville, or whatever you call this place. But I am not alone in insulting you for not being American for an hour. Joining me are two men who exemplify the very worst that America has to export, Cecil and Tom.
I like to think I'm one grade below Tomahawk missile on the export.
Barely. I'm surprised there weren't more tariffs based on weight alone, but I don't know, I guess I feel at home in a country founded by criminals and ne'er-do-wells, so it's good to be among my people, you know? I feel good.
You need the hat is all.
I do need that hat.
And also joining us tonight are two men voted least likely to live to 40 last year by their physicians, Heath and Eli.
I was fine with the nomination. It was when he started trying to win the bet by feeding me baby aspirin that I was hurt. Dr. Klauber, if you're listening, not cool, man. Not cool. I'll give you a 1 star on WebMD.
That's
where
where
you
got the
rate
polio and the smallpox, but my autism is gone, so that's trade-offs.
In this room, that's not going to play well, just so you know. A lot of downcast eyes.
A lot
in
of
this
rickets.
space. Yeah.
All right, so before we get the show started, I had a fun idea. This is a special moment. So everyone who has a cell phone, if you could take it out right now, this is going to be really cool. I don't want anyone to miss this. All right, awesome. Seems like everybody's got their stuff going. Now, if you would, please, everyone, use your phones right now to head over to patreon.com. And we will wait. We'll wait.
We've got an hour.
And by the way, if you see your neighbor not pledging, let an usher know right away. We need the seats anyway. And of course, even if you don't donate right now, which is frankly Rude. You can always donate later when your conscience is gnawing at you at the dead of night. And with that out of the way, tell us, Cecil, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Well, today we're going to be doing the cultural equivalent of mansplaining and talking about Ned Kelly, who's an Australian cultural icon, because nothing says sensitivity like five guys from overseas teaching people about their own history. Guys, if you're wondering, this is what cultural appropriation feels like.
As is the hat. All right, now, I feel like we've made a mistake. This is our first live show. And there's an error in the notes, because according to this, it says that Tom is going to be walking us through this episode.
Jesus, hi, Mom.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Very encouraging, very validating.
Okay,
Appreciate that.
Tom, you have already failed to prepare for the show twice.
Okay.
And that was in the first 10 weeks of us doing this show.
Sure.
So,
Yeah. Oh, all right. I guess we're gonna air out our dirty laundry in front of the live audience. That's fine. That's all right. That's nice. It's fair. I didn't tell anybody about that time I caught you in the massage parlor. So.
I was getting you.
Yeah, but you were there. You were there.
But I was working, sir.
Heath made his high school girlfriend get an abortion and then he broke up with her. We're doing our banter.
We're doing our banter.
Is that banter good?
Cool.
You did not banter good.
No.
All right, so quick before Eli pulls out the Jean-Benet Ramsey episode that he carries around with him. Eli, no charts. Tell us, Tom.
Child doll into the back green room. Just set it next to the regular speakers they have. They freak us a lot.
All right, so tell us, Tom, who was Ned Kelly?
Well, as I'm sure the audience already knows, Ned Kelly was a famous Australian outlaw, which, by the way, makes Ned Kelly the only famous Australian. So there's.
You're forgetting Ken Ham, sir.
Can you be nice, please? Jesus, we're guests here.
Yeah. Okay. Name one Australian person, one at all, including all the people you've met this weekend.
I want to say Crocodile Irwin.
Charlize Theron.
No. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Sam. There's got to be a Sam here somewhere.
So
What, you don't have a Sam?
Raise your hand if you're a Sam. No? Sam I am? No? Okay. All right, moving on. Ned Kelly's become a national hero in Australia, which is a large, irrelevant island in the Pacific that is full of venomous shit.
Okay, Tom, we're
Yeah.
in Australia. Again, just maybe a little respect. Like, embrace the culture of teasing gay people with non-binding human rights. What do you guys do? That's the thing. Do they get that?
Yeah, next week they're doing a vote on whether you can kill an Aboriginal. For fun.
Spoiler alert, you can.
I have a feeling it'll come out the same.
We got some yes votes in this. Got real
38%
quiet.
yes, that's weird.
60-40.
60-40.
Anyway, Ned Kelly is this kind of amazing character, and I cannot possibly do him justice in just this hour, but I'm going to try to hit some of the high points. Now, Ned was born to Red Kelly and Ellen Quinn in December of 1854. Red, having been born in Ireland and shipped off to Australia for, and I love this, stealing 2 pigs.
Yeah, he ran a pork chop shop.
All right, so we have his humble porcine origins, check.
So, after 6 years of hard labor, 2 pigs, 6 years of hard labor, he was given his certificate of freedom, which, by the way, is awesome, and I want one. So,
Yeah. Slavery and alimony, that's the same thing.
ouch. Okay, all right.
Tell us more about your struggle. Or conf.
On an interesting note, they're just about to give those to gay people here, too. So that's exciting.
Copies of Mein Kampf, not married.
All right, moving on from my financial devastation. That's great. So he then went on to become a very successful gold digger. So, you know, he must have some junk in that trunk.
I
Just
thought
saying.
you were moving on from your financial
He
situation.
junk in the trunk. So, yeah.
Okay. I was
Any
thinking
gold diggers
digger.
today? Because I have a blog that has dozens of listeners. Just saying. All right, one dude. Great.
And even though Ned's family history is pretty damn interesting, I can't spend much time on it because Ned doesn't waste much time in his life before getting pretty goddamn interesting himself. Now, the wiki entry is occasionally sparse on details, but it indicates that Kelly's family was pretty well known to the local police. There's a fair amount of evidence that they were the subject of some pretty aggressive harassment. And I checked, and they weren't even a little black, so I thought that was weird.
In fairness to the cops, though, if you stop and search somebody who stole 2 pigs, there's probably not racism at play. It's just like, I see 2 pigs.
What are you talking about?
I know Australia doesn't have a lot of black people, so if you're interested in learning about them, read the Book of Mormon. It's a great primer. It's really great.
Actually, in my travels, I found the Australians are adorably 1980s racist. Not like boo 1950s racist, but just like that sweet, like, well, they do kind of, right?
Some of my best friends are all blacks.
Exactly.
That's New Zealand's like black people here, right?
Oh, yeah, we have to. Oh, no. No.
Okay,
not?
we got some yes, we got some no. We got some, I thought they were doing a podcast.
Now, as a young man, Kelly risked his life to save a boy from drowning. The family was grateful for his heroism, and they gifted him with a green sash. This same green sash was worn by Kelly in his final shootout. And here's a spoiler. It was under his suit of homemade armor.
I love this guy.
And it is on display, blood-stained and fucked up and gross, in some museum here I'll never go to.
That's a very verbose way of saying some museum, but okay.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, you don't hear me bragging about all the gyms I won't go to.
But you do brag about the gyms you are going to. I think that might be worse. What do you do there?
I mostly reach over busy men for 5-pound weights. Just...
Stupid question. Doesn't matter.
This is great radio here. Appreciate it.
You 7 listeners at home are missing it.
Fuck them, should have come to Australia.
All right, well, I want to circle back. There's a museum of bloody sashes? You guys have a museum, like lots of Girl Scout massacres in Australia? What?
Not anymore.
Not anymore, right? Yeah. They're not American, please. Now, I do have to divert for just a minute back to Ned's family because of their mistreatment, at least as Ned saw it, was the cause for much of what happens later. And before I tell you this crazy shit, bear in mind that all this was happening back in garbage times when people were just like mean and stupid for no reason. And that might help make some sense of this. So Red, Ned's father, he was arrested, get this, for being in unlawful possession of a bullock hide. The crime being having meat without an explanation.
It's the George Pell story.
Right?
I guess it was veal. It was veal.
Oh,
Yeah. So Red was sentenced to 6 months of hard labor for having meat, and upon his release, he basically drank himself into getting actually fucking dropsy. He got dropsy. That's real. I looked it up. And then he died from it. He dropped. And this, that's why it's dropsy, right? This did not impress young Ned.
Yeah, young Ned's just like, I'll show you, I'm gonna do shots until I have milk leg.
So at the age of 14, right? Are we, yeah, okay. At the age of 14, Ned had his first official brush with the law when he was charged with assault and robbery, 14. Now the story here is not terribly clear, but the clearest version, as I can tell, goes a little something like this. A Chinese guy named Ah Fook.
Oh,
Stop.
no goddamn well.
Follow-up questions, because I feel like this is an adorably racist joke one of these people told me in the lobby. I just want to be...
Again, it's not. So he wanders past the Kelly residence and he asks for water. Ned's sister gives Ah Fook some creek water rather than rainwater, and I guess that's an insult. So Ah Fook becomes enraged and he berates Ned's sister. This is a bad idea, right? So Ned rushes out of the house, pushes Ah Fook. Ah Fook hits Ned with a stick, and Ned, who is, again, 14, but is described as being between 18 and 20 years old by people who've seen him, he takes the guy's stick and beats the piss out of him.
You could say that he beats the fook out of him.
Wait, so hold on. Are we done miming for the home audience?
I killed myself. It's good. That was the last one. It's a Hemingway thing. You gotta use it. Because he meant it.
Really? It smelled like Teen Spirit from over here.
So he's charged with assault and robbery. If robbery was the stick, that is one creative Crown prosecutor.
So Ned gets arrested, but not without a struggle, right? The trooper trying to arrest Ned, 14, weighed 224 pounds. He was unable to subdue him.
And for the locals, by the way, 224 pounds is some number of kilos or stones or whatever you use.
It's impossible to convert. It took several nearby laborers who, in order to subdue this kid, had to eventually knock him unconscious. And although he's now been arrested, the charges don't stick. He stays in jail for 11 days and he's ultimately released. The police, who seem to have some kind of weird hard-on for the Kelly family, they take an immediate dislike to Ned. One of the sergeants becoming somewhat obsessed with the family and saying that he has become a perfect encyclopedia of knowledge about the Kelly family.
It's a really weird, obsessive sergeant.
Right?
Just goes home every day to his apartment. He's got like yarn and push pins. And shit out. His friend's like, dude, it's one guy that connects to nothing. That's usually takes Ned Kelly's picture, moves it down his Rico chart of one.
So I love this because the names here are amazing. Ned then starts hanging out with Harry Power, a bushranger.
For anyone in the U.S. listening, that we call those people landscapers.
That's the term for a male porn star in the 70s.
The same thing.
Harry Power in the Chamber of Secrets.
So, and if you're gonna be a bushranger, having the name Harry Power, that's amazing. And I want that business card, by the way. That sells every time. So together, they rob a couple of people, starting with the also hilariously named Mr. McBean. And a guy identified in the wiki, the other guy's just named Murray. Get Murray. So Kelly was arrested a ridiculous number of times, but the charges never stick because the witnesses keep refusing to identify him or disappearing. Harry Power eventually gets arrested, and he believes that Ned ratted him out. Ned was so upset about being thought as an informant, he actually wrote the police a letter complaining about it after being distrusted by the bushranger community.
Wait, how exactly is communicating with the police going to give people the impression you aren't the informant?
All right, I'm going to take these cops out for drink and get this all sorted out. Not on your side, beers all round.
Dear the police, I don't know shit, Ned.
This brings me to the story of Ned's first imprisonment, which, and this story couldn't be much more delightful, began when a friend of Kelly's was accused of stealing a horse by James McCormick. In retaliation for the accusation, Kelly delivers an obscene letter to McCormick's childless wife. That letter being also serving to wrap a pair of bull's testicles. Right? Now, it's not clear what that letter said exactly, but my guess is that it was spectacular.
It just read, John R. Brinkley sleeps with the fishes.
Red Bull's balls gives you bat wings. Bat wings is when you spread this testicle. It looks like a bat wing if you stretch it.
That's the bat signal. Yeah.
Get older.
People not know the bat wing. I feel like
Stretchier.
It's more like a pterodactyl.
Everybody Google that if you didn't get it.
Like a windshield cover. The letter's just like, at Jane McCormick, cuck?
So how did McCormick react to the bull nut posting there?
Well, McCormick confronted Kelly. Kelly pops him in the face, knocks him down. Ned gets arrested for the testicle prank and assault, and he serves 3 months of hard labor for each of the two charges.
I love that assault is the second, because that means that they have a law in the books that says no mailing bull balls.
Yeah.
That's fair, right? He was not the first to think of this.
We got a 657. Wait, no, it's bull balls, 658.
Well, it's a Holstein, Chief.
Sorry, we got a 722. This is a terrible island/continent.
Now, after his release, Ned met Isaiah Wild Wright. Wright had a stolen horse, but Ned didn't know that. And after the horse ran off, the Kellys loaned Wright one of their horses, and Wright asked Kelly to help him find his horse. adding he could borrow the horse for a while if he found it. Well, Ned found the horse, but he was very promptly arrested for being in possession of a stolen horse, which he didn't steal or even know was stolen. Except no one just arrests Ned Kelly. Ned overpowered, I love this so much, Ned overpowered the constable trying to arrest him, and then he rode the constable like a horse. I love this man! Driving his spurs into the constable's legs, right? He's eventually pistol whipped into submission, and he's given 3 years of hard labor, and he's 16 at this point.
He's the best person.
I love him so much.
The guy should actually be thankful he didn't treat him like a kangaroo and climb into his pouch.
Yeah, they didn't have a royal commission into institutional responses about that. That was no.
You know, I have an uncle who likes to fight cops when they arrest him. Not a national hero in America. But then again, we're a continent of dogs, not snake or spider-roos, so I can't be like, that's what you have to settle for.
All right, so 3 years he spends in prison. After he's released, Kelly was understandably pissed off, right? And so he decides to settle the score with Wright for getting him arrested in the first place. He settles the score by beating the hell out of him in a 20-round bare-knuckle boxing match. Jesus. After which, he gets declared the unofficial boxing champion of the district. He's 19 now, right? Also, he is, according to the photos I saw, he is bearding at a very high level.
That's really true. I mean, he looks like a hair dinner plate. It's just, and this coming from a guy that looks like a hair soup bowl. So, yeah.
You look like Steven Seagal got shipwrecked or something.
Cheers.
But yeah, Ned Kelly is crushing it. It's an amazing beard.
I feel like the massive hair from his balls was just encroaching on his chin.
Probably not true. At 22, Ned is arrested for riding over a footpath, whatever that fucking means. But I guess he didn't appreciate that anymore, that I really understand what that means, because while in the custody of 4 policemen, he escapes, runs, takes refuge in a shoemaker shop. The shop owner and the police try to subdue him and they fail. And in the fight, Kelly fought until his actual pants get ripped off. I love him so much, guys. See, this is the greatest country on earth. Seizing the opportunity, Constable Thomas Longian, which I may have mispronounced, grabbed him by the balls and squeezed. Right? I don't know how he could get his hands around him. Right? I got that motherfucker! So of Longian. And you didn't think you were gonna edit this show. So of Longian, Kelly says, well, Longian, are we done? Can we move on? Okay, we got 17 pages.
I yelled at the line judge. That was my favorite part.
Kelly says, well, Longian, I never shot a man yet, but if I ever do, so help me God, you'll be the first. I don't generally like spoilers, but he totally fucking murders this guy later on.
Geez, thanks, Tom. No, there's no reason to watch the second season of Nedwood.
For our Australian audience, Deadwood was a show about American cowboys, or as you call them, Australian kindergartners.
Sometime later, a drunk asshole constable named Fitzpatrick, he went to the Kelly household in an attempt to arrest Kelly's brother Dan, alone, in spite of a standing policy that the police do not approach a member of the Kelly family alone.
Body system, Fitz. Body system.
It's attacked from both sides by like Ned Kelly and a velociraptor. Drop bear falls out of his head.
Not far off. So Fitzpatrick ends up making the arrest, and I love this part. Dan Kelly asks if he can have dinner before they leave. And Fitzpatrick says, yeah, sure, all right, because who wants to go to jail hungry, right? I wouldn't. Ned, seeing his older brother is being held by the police, rushes in and shoots Fitzpatrick in the wrist. The brothers, a friend, and their mom then overtake the constable and beat him unconscious.
Are we really going to celebrate a family where the mom takes part in a boot party? Are you doing this?
When the other option is not celebrating them, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, we are.
That's fair.
Yeah, this episode's about feminism. You're welcome.
So when Fitzpatrick regains consciousness, Ned hands him a knife and demands that he dig the bullet out of his own wrist to remove the evidence that he was shot.
That's just adding insult to injury. That's like every American politician being like, here's a straw, you just suck it out so none of us get in trouble. It's all of us. It's every single one now. It's really depressing.
So Ned also made Fitzpatrick swear that he totally wouldn't tell anyone, pinky swear, and so he was let loose. For his part, Fitzpatrick was all like, yeah, fuck that, and he totally told on him. Now, Ned didn't stick around to be arrested and tried, but his brother and his friend received 6 years of hard labor for attempted murder. And Ned's mom was sentenced to 3 years hard labor for her part, a sentence which was universally thought to be overly harsh. This was the turning point for Ned. I like that. There was a turning point for this guy, right?
Yeah, shit's about to get real
Right?
now.
Because what I just relayed to you is the official police version. Ned's version is that he was actually 200 miles away at the time of the incident, that Fitzpatrick was a loose cannon who showed up drunk, was humiliated by Ellen, Ned's mom, and who hurt his wrist because he was fucking drunk, and all the rest of the story was just some made-up bullshit.
Well, Tom, speaking of made-up bullshit, this seems like a great time to pause for a quick break for something we like to call apropos of nothing.
This is when we play the theme music. Oi, Ned.
God damn it, it says accents. Hey, fellas, how you doing? I can't.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Accent sounds like it.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Yes, hello. Thank you very much.
You have to do the rest of it that
I'm
way.
doing it that way.
You
That's
gotta
it.
do it that way.
It just says accents. It doesn't specify which.
Right?
one.
Says
Yeah, not
Australian
bad. Not
accents.
bad. Just a couple of quick questions about a gang here.
Fuck. Fire away, fellas. Literally. I can't.
Well, neither can I, but I still try.
Right, yeah, so that's what we want to talk about. We've actually been murdering people, taking hostages and stuff.
We're robbing banks.
Right, all the usual criminal stuff. But there seem to be some extras.
What kind of extras?
You know, like the armor.
Yeah, it just seems a bit extreme.
Stops bullets.
Does it?
It should.
Fucking crushing this.
Okay. But what about the hostage party? Does the hostage party seem super?
What? You want unhappy hostages?
No, but it's that we should have like.
Okay, but what about the knife teeth?
Yes, us replacing our teeth with knives was an odd choice.
Wait, y'all don't like the knife teeth?
No, it's hard to chew. Normal
Well,
food.
fine. Keep regular teeth, but when you want to eat a man's head, don't come crying to me.
Okay, see, it's stuff like that. You say weird
I
stuff.
never want to. That's it. I never.
You're a weird gang leader.
Well, it's almost like I'm psychic. I wrote in something about how terrible Tom's accent was right there. So, we all regret that, except for those of us who won't live long enough to regret anything because they're in Australia. But before all of that, I think, Tom, you were telling us Ned wasn't over much happy with the way the police done treated his Mimo.
That is right. So, after the sentences are handed down, Ned and Dan decided they were tired of this bullshit, right? And they go into hiding with a couple of their buddies. Now they're the Kelly Gang. And they went off to hide in the Wombat Ranges, which is just about the best name for a place possible. Also, guys, where can I eat one of those things? Suggestions? Anyone?
Actually, the Taronga Zoo has a whole buffet filled with them.
Warning: sugar gliders. Very misleading name. Very gamey and squeaky.
Jesus. So, the police got wind that the Kelly Gang was hiding with the Wombats, and they dispatched 2 secret teams to capture them, intending to discover their location and execute a pincher movement.
See? Pincher movement.
They had
I
a
told
shared
you.
battle vocabulary. They'd obviously established it.
4 guys. This is all to catch 4 guys.
And let's not forget the wombats, Tom.
Right,
Wombats,
right.
too.
And for our American listeners, by the way, a wombat is like Tom, but a marsupial. Right?
Not sure what that means.
And for our Wombat listeners, Tom is like Gary the Wombat who fell into that vat of creatine.
My kidneys are gonna fail. So, Constables Kennedy, Longian, Scanlon and McIntyre, they set up camp in an area near Stringy Bark Creek. And McIntyre and Longian were left alone in the morning to make tea and do the bitch work, while Kennedy and Scanlon went out scouting.
Like we said, this episode's about feminism, guys. It's feminism.
All right. So, moving on. So,
Furiously
of course,
deleting
right?
jokes now.
I changed it.
So, of course, fucking dumb shit McIntyre sees a parrot and just shoots at it, because that's what you do when you're sneaking around trying to catch dangerous criminals, right?
Just like, shut up, rustling leaves, blam! Hear us.
And as you might expect, Ned hears the shot because he's not completely deaf or stupid, and he's on the lookout for this exact situation. So he and his gang get the jump on these Keystone Cop idiots.
You always kill the parrot. It could have talked.
Oh.
That's funny.
Why do you confide in parrots?
Garrison Keeler money. Where you at?
All right. Now McIntyre throws his hands up because he knew he'd been beat. But Longian, the squeeze guy from before, he goes for his gun. He gets shot right in the fucking temple. And I love his last words, "Oh Christ, I'm shot." Nice and obvious, right? Obvious cop is obvious. Kelly then basically calls him a moron, robs the corpse, and then robs McIntyre.
And there's just a parrot with like one wing flapping over the body going, Christ, I'm shot! Christ, I'm shot! Christ, I'm shot!
See, this is why I always carry a note.
Jesus.
Then there's just this amazing exchange, right, where McIntyre asks if Kelly is going to shoot him, to which Kelly replies, "No, why should I shoot you? I could have done it a half an hour ago if I wanted to." Which has to be relatively cold comfort, as this conversation is being had next to the corpse of McIntyre's body, right? Kelly then persuades McIntyre to quit the police force and help convince Kennedy and Scanlon to surrender when they return, promising to shoot no one as long as everyone surrenders. They then have a bit of a laugh about killing kangaroos together.
Just like, sorry about murdering your friend, but the pouches, right? Hilarious. Huh?
Sometimes I'll cut out the leg holes like a baby Bjorn. I think it's gonna catch on.
All right, so Scanlon and Kennedy arrive, and McIntyre's like, "Hey, you guys should totally surrender, like, right now you should surrender. This is the time." But Kennedy thinks this is a joke, and he puts his hand on his revolver instead. He's immediately shot at, but he's not hit right away. Scanlon is shot and killed right there. McIntyre, deciding that perhaps this is not his very best day, jumps on Kennedy's horse and gets out. The horse gets wounded, dies a few miles later. Kennedy's body is found, but nobody's really sure what happened there.
Diabetes?
Horse murder suicide.
Land shark? What game are we playing on? Okay. What are we doing?
Citation needed.
Now, of McIntyre, Kelly commented only that he didn't want to shoot him since he'd already surrendered.
Poor guy. Poor Kennedy. 1 week from retirement.
Yeah, Kennedys and getting shot have a long and storied international connection. I understand that.
You know, now that I think about it, the kangaroos in that Zapruder tape, they seem out of place.
One kangaroo holding the umbrella.
What
Right?
would you be doing with it?
For our Australian listeners, the Zapruder tape is the video of when President George H. Bush was working for the CIA and shot then President John F. Kennedy.
No.
Okay, agree to disagree.
It was Aristotle Onassis who did it to get to Jackie.
Okay, and we do not agree.
All right, so it turns out that the government doesn't take too kindly to the murder of 3 police officers. So they put an $8,000 bounty on Ned, and they passed the Felon Apprehension Act, which is a terrible name because it has nothing to do with apprehension at all. The act made it legal for anyone to just shoot at these guys. Jeez. The government had now created an incentive plan for vigilantism.
Everyone's at home just furiously breeding their Ned Kellys. So gotta cut through the beard, though. It's a motherfucker.
So Kelly and his gang are still on the run. They need some money, and they have spent all their scratch on brass ball polish at this point. So they decide to take a bunch of hostages and rob banks because, fuck it. So they head over to, and I am not making this up, this is a place, Gurum Gongwol Station. Which was owned, no shit, by a man named Mr. Younghusband. Because Australia, that's why.
I think the best part of this story is that at some point someone took it super seriously and was very tearfully like, it was then that Mr. Penny Snickers, who at the time was at Booby Bay. God, this is hard. No.
So the Kelly gang, they hold up this crazy joint. They put all the people there in a storeroom. They stole suits so they'd look fancy, and then they went to rob the bank later. But before going to the bank, they cut all the telegraph wires, which is a hell of a lot more work than just ripping the phone out of the wall. And then they kidnapped the telegraph repair guy. Some railroad men tried to interfere with them, but they kidnapped those guys too. And then they just tossed the whole lot of them into the storeroom. The Kelly gang robbed the bank, but they were so polite and pleasant about the whole thing that they ended up drinking whiskey afterwards with the bank manager.
I love that.
They then headed back to Boonga Boonga or whatever the fuck where their hostages were, and they had fucking tea with all the hostages. The whole thing was described as by the hostages as pleasant.
We have a name for that. It's called Stockholm Syndrome.
Maybe you should treat your hostages better, Cecil.
Maybe you should remember the safe word.
Jean Benet.
So they then decide to rob a bank in Geraldary. Again, I love this place. But they didn't want any trouble from the police. So they go to the police station, pretend to be drunk, yell about a murder, then all the police come out, they hold up the police, steal their guns, and lock them in jail. Their own jail! Dan Kelly and Hart then steal the police's uniforms and just walk around town in them because fuck the police.
All right. Hey, Synchronicity was a good album.
I feel it was like, you're under arrest. No, you're under double arrest. Can't triple stamp that now.
Hey, can we take like a selfie in your holding cell just for a sec? Hold on, what if we switch clothes? It'll be fun. Switch clothes. And didn't you guys invent the selfie here, by the way?
I'm picturing some guy just coming into the police station about his neighbor's hedges, and he's just like, look, I don't care who deals with this, but someone has to deal with it. Murderer bandits, you can't eat, they're too tall. It's the 3 meters.
So they rob this bank, right? And they scare a man in the process of robbing the bank so badly that he develops a lifelong stutter. They then rob damn near the whole town. They just go around robbing the town itself. The bank is not enough, except they wouldn't steal from women or the very poor. And then they also burned the mortgage documents in the bank.
Okay, I'm pretty sure he's Tyler Durden. Right. I'm pretty sure Ned Kelly is Project Mayhem, and we shouldn't be talking about it.
So, we're in a lot of trouble now. The public, they start to become rather enamored of these fellows, as you might imagine, when someone burns your mortgage, right? And the tide of public opinion turns in favor of Kelly. The Felon Apprehension Act was actually allowed to lapse and was not renewed.
Well, now that you can't get the $8,000, they're just letting those captive Ned breeders out into the Ned Kellys out in the wild, just let them go.
That should be on the welcome signs. Welcome to Australia. Cobra effect, the country. Actually, it works better for the U.S. We're not doing well.
All right, so
It's not a great year.
did the cops just finally give up at this point, or what?
Not even close. So the police attempted to use this guy named Aaron Sherritt as an informant and a guide to help them capture the Kelly gang. Now, Sherritt himself was something of a badass. And while on the hunt, camping with the police were shivering and covered in animal skins and blankets through the night. Sherritt didn't even wear a coat, all right? Of the rest of the Kelly gang, Sherritt was totally dismissive, but even this guy respected Ned, and here's what he said about him. He said, I can beat all the others. I'm a better man than Joe Byrne, I'm a better man than Dan Kelly, and I'm a better man than Steve Hart. I can lick those two youngsters to fits. I've always beaten Joe. But I look upon Ned Kelly as an extraordinary man. There's no man in the world like him. He is superhuman. So Dan and Joe, they didn't particularly appreciate Sherritt's dismissive attitude, so they promptly surprised him in the middle of the night and shotgunned him in the chest. So trash talk failed. Didn't work out. Didn't work out. The Kelly gang is now on the run, and they go to Glenrowan. Once there, they fucked up the train tracks so that if the police show up, with reinforcements via train, the whole train would just derail. They take over the whole town. There's like 4 of these guys. They take over the whole town. They take 62 hostages in a hotel, and get this shit, they throw a party with these guys. Oh! Yes!
Yes.
This guy is basically Chevy Chase from National Lampoon's Vacation, except for he doesn't have a pellet.
Or a crippling cocaine addiction.
It's always awkward at the end of that hostage party, though. It's just like, so you want to get out of here? Trick question. You can't. I'm gonna murder you every 5 minutes. How does it? Something with hostages. Party. Love it.
So 2 trains of police are dispatched from Melbourne, and it would have derailed except for one of the hostages escapes and runs out to warn the police, which is a fucking party foul.
Yeah, it's also right on the front page of the I Was Kidnapped handbook, too.
By Jean.
Stop.
No.
That can't be the safe word anymore. You got
It's too many syllables. Sorry.
That's not why.
Now the gang, once they realized that the police had them surrounded, they tried to let all the hostages go, but the lady of the house persuaded them to stay and listen to Ned lecture them. Right? So the lecture gets concluded, no details on what the lecture's about, and the gang got ready for what turned out to be their final showdown.
Holy shit, did people just climb on their desks and say, "Oh, Captain, my Captain"?
Oh, felon, my felon.
Yeah, right.
By the way, it sounds like we're getting a Robin Williams type ending here. Yes. That was the line? Robin Williams.
Yeah, national treasure here.
Now, here's my very favorite part. They get ready for the final showdown by putting on homemade armor. That's right. These motherfuckers built a forge in the bush, and they used 1/4-inch steel plate from plows, and they construct helmets and full armor. Arms, head, chest, all of it, covered in steel. They made themselves into pistol-packing medieval knights on the fly in the bush.
Australia, beating swords out of plows since 1880.
Now, the police arrive, and they surround the Kelly gang. The firefight was so severe it had to pause because there was so much gun smoke in the air, nobody could see what they were shooting at anymore.
And thus, the first country music festival was born. Too soon?
Jesus.
For our Australian listeners, that's the thing that happened to us for the millionth time a couple months ago. That happened to you once, and you got rid of all the murder machines. So it's hard to understand. But that's what happened. Is one time, yeah. For us, it happened to kids, and we were like, still though.
I like my targets.
So the women and children were allowed to leave after several volleys of shots and injuries on both sides. At first light, Kelly, who had snuck out of the hotel, dressed in homemade armor, attacked the police alone with a pistol. There were 30 police versus one armored Ned, right? The police are not in the winning side. So Ned was hit 18 times in the armor with no effect. The police began to fear that he was supernatural. They called him a devil until one of them noticed that the devil didn't have metal pants, and so they shot the fuck out of his legs and groin. So Ned was alas captured.
Ned skipped leg day.
They still have 3 guys, right? So to get the rest of the gang, they brought in a cannon. 3 guys! A cannon! They brought in a cannon, but eventually they just set fire to the building. Now, exactly how the rest of the gang died is somewhat unclear.
Maybe by cannon and fire.
Or diabetes.
Yeah.
Horse cancer.
Not likely, that one. So the only one to actually survive is Ned, right? Ned stands trial for murder, threatened to see the judge in hell, and he was sentenced to death by hanging. When he spoke to his mother just before being hanged, she reminded him to die like a Kelly.
Before your time.
He did die like his dad. They both were drop seed.
Okay, Robin Williams hanging jokes.
Okay.
Oh, it's hanging. The comment you don't like hang. Got it.
Terrible. All right. Now, there's some debate about his last words, but reports are that walking up to the gallows, Kelly casually compliments a small garden, and just before the big drop, uttered, "Such is life," as his last words. Although some also reported his last words as, "Oh, well, I suppose it's come to this," which are far superior to my last words, which will almost certainly involve agreeing to supersizing something. So.
Mine are gonna be "told you so."
All right, so if you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, Tom, what would it be?
That while I'm not 100% sure that I can place my finger on it, there is a ballistic belligerence and nonchalant attitude towards danger and violence in this guy that just feels perfectly Australian.
All right, so now that I've granted you as an official Australian historian, are you ready to face a barrage of questions from our panel?
If by ready you mean this is a required portion of the program, then yes.
Yeah, okay,
I am
that
ready.
is what I meant.
All right.
All right, Tom.
Yes.
What was Ned Kelly's nickname? Was it A, Man of Steel a bunch of stuff? B, the Hostage Whisperer?
Not inaccurate.
Or C, Blight in Shining Armor?
I'm going to go with, because, Superman is clearly the superior superhero. Man of Steel a bunch of stuff.
That's correct,
All
yeah.
right, there we go.
Batman.
All right, Tom. What's the most famous Ned Kelly souvenir tchotchke? A, Ned Kelly finger cuffs. So when you kidnap people, they'll be restrained, but in a hilarious, fun way, so that they won't say mean shit about you later. B, a Ned Kelly blackface lawn jockey. Well, it's so you can quit whining about institutional racism and show people how tough it was for the Irish at one point.
Wow, okay. Now I feel uncomfortable. That's
See?
unusual.
And you thought you weren't going to have to
That's
edit
not
this.
right.
C, Ned Kelly alarm parrot. It's got one use. It's an animatronic parrot. You trigger it and it screams the lyrics to Surfin' Bird until it explodes. Mahoo, mow, mow. Okay, and then lastly, D, a Ned Kelly fountain pen, which is filled with white ink, because this would be a very different story if it were black.
Wow. Okay.
That's a truth bomb. Boom!
Can I pick E? I want all of these for my curio cabinet at home. That's what I want.
Secret answer E, correct.
All right, good. That's it.
All right, Tom, I got one for you.
All right.
Which of the following is the #1 reason that I want to move to Australia now? Is it A, Chris Hemsworth? So Eli didn't realize this Chris Hemsworth. He was the guy in the Tag Heuer watch poster thing, and he owes me all his 2018
My
income.
lawyer was
No,
present
he's
there.
right there. He heard
So
it.
just
He
be-
liked
will
my
be
tweet. That's
disputed.
official. This is
It's
on
gonna
recording
court
now.
in the-
This
it's
is
gonna be
legal
this
document
legal
binding.
document.
Eli owes all the money
Veto
from
with
2018. Is that
turn
correct,
it upside
Andrew?
down and it's
That is
jumping
correct.
in.
Andrew gave a thumbs up. That's locked in. Excellent. That was A. Say Voce with a mic. Yeah. Cool. Okay. B. Reason I want to move to Australia, was it the long black, not the penis or the
no.
ethnicity. Apparently they're not allowed here. Do you have any black people? Do we have any black people here? Okay.
But we did get the one woman who objected very loudly. She was like, "We do!" I mean, not here.
Genuine true story. I've seen two black people this entire time. They were both being questioned by the police.
Yes,
Absolutely true.
That is 100%
Did
true.
not make that up.
I felt so at home in that moment, too.
Yeah, that's kind of.
I wasn't at home. Nobody was beating them, so it was weird.
Okay. Another good reason I want to move here. Okay, or C, air supply. Not the band, the breathing stuff. Trump pulled us out of the Paris Accord.
Yeah,
It's terrifying.
better here.
D, AC/DC. Not the band, the electricity. When a nuclear device detonates over New York because of a Twitter fight, we're not having electricity.
True. Yeah,
Maybe
that's
just
true.
move here. That'd be better. Or E, all of the above. It's fantastic here. Everybody's been amazing and wonderful.
It's not E. It's not E. Who's Chris Hemsworth again?
It's Thor.
Okay, yeah. It's the long black. It's the long black. Yeah, it's the long
It is the long black. It's amazing.
Actually, it's not, because for the formula.
It's not
yeah.
the. It's nope.
Yeah.
It's E, because all of
Gotta
these
lose
fine
it.
people
Nope.
are so amazing.
It's E.
Edited.
Sometimes we edit these things. All right, well, it looks like, Heath, you were the first to best our experts, so who's going to be taking over hosting duties next week?
All right. Well, you better gear up, start making some money. It's Eli.
All right, and of course, we always end on a Twitter question. This isn't going to, you guys can't answer this yet because you'll fuck up our chronology on this. You have to wait until this episode comes out. But our Twitter question for the audience at home is, if you could invite Ned Kelly to one holiday party, which one would it be?
Yes.
All right,
Is
well,
all of them a possibility? I want him everywhere.
yeah, right, all the parties.
Right.
All right, well, for Tom, Cecil, Heath, and Eli, this is Noah thanking you for hanging out with us today. We're going to be back next week, but not in person and not in Australia. And by then, Eli will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can listen to Heath, myself, and Eli rant, rave, and froth mightily over at our shows, The Scathing Atheist, God Awful Movies, and The Skeptocrat. You can also catch Cecil doing all of Tom's homework over at Cognitive Dissonance.
Thank you.
And if we survive the poisonous wasteland that is your post-apocalyptic wasteland country, we'll have more shows coming. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod, or leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or wherever else you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect to us on social media, or check the show notes. Be sure to check out citationpod.com. Thank you, Australia. And remember, we're as afraid of you as you are of us.
That's true. Heath, are you still mad about me riding you?
Yes.
Heath, don't-
Yes. Obviously.
Picture
And we
motion.
didn't discuss that head.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
What do you mean picture?
Eli's still finishing the episode there. He's just getting started.
Don't worry about it, man.
Nice. You just said the first line. It's cool.
You know,
Put some effort into the.
you only had 20 hours on an airplane, so you had no chance to.
I wish you could write a little faster. What show are we doing? This is the movie one? We're gonna be playing some clips to echoey silence. I have the first, that's right. Motherfucker! This one's the scripted show.
You just wrote it this morning. Okay.
I'm blue. Okay.
If you want to feel more connected to humanity and a little less alone, listen to Beautiful Anonymous. Each week, I take a phone call from one random anonymous human being. There's over 400 episodes in our back catalog. You get to feel connected to all these different people all over the world. Recent episodes include one where a lady survived a murder attempt by her own son. But then the week before that, we just talked about Star Trek. It can be anything. It's unpredictable. It's raw. It's real. Get Beautiful Anonymous wherever you listen to podcasts.